This is Jeremy Zwinger with the Rice Trader, just giving you our weekly summary for the September 10th TRT report. It's going to be brief this week. I'm not seeing as much action as normally, so I don't want to go too long. So what I say about this week? Let's start with prices. Prices have been pretty much unchanged. I mean, Thailand was down just $3 a ton, Pakistan was up about $10 a ton, and India was down $5. These are nominal changes. Blame it on currency or just the normal weekly shifting of prices. Really nominal. I mean, really about $3.90 for Asian rice in all origins. So it is really a preference almost in small origin transactions. So a really light week for prices. On the other hand, the U.S. remains significantly elevated to the overall market at $5.35, at $140 premium, $150 premium to some origins. It's just way exceptionally high, which continues to leave opportunity. Of the origins, again, Thai rice at $3.95 is for sure a very good bargain. Vietnamese the same price. These are really good prices. We still go back to the same issue as you're seeing with demand. You do have the largest supply of rice since 2000. This is going to lead to heavy push to need of demand, it seems, but it's very political at the same time. China obviously continuing to export to a lot of the key markets is the biggest factor in the market in the year. We have less imports to India, and they're competing in a lot of markets, which is really affecting the overall negotiation equation. I still believe you have downward pressure in these markets. There is factors that we talk about in the TRT that do challenge this, but with supply and demand factors, it really is a negative market on supply and demand. That being said, weekly trade remains about 1% below last year. It's still very high trade, but definitely declined in the third quarter. Thailand's moved to a 4% reduction from last year's record pace, where India is up, Pakistan is up, and Vietnam is up. On the same time, the U.S. is still down about 18% in the year, in a very low year. So it's been a very interesting year overall. Just looking at some of the key details, there is some interest in the Philippines. It looks like about 133,000 metric tons of MAV demand are going to be allowed. There's buzz in Thailand of Iranian demand. There's talk of Chinese interest in Pakistan and such. So there's been some movement. Indonesia's been kind of in the market as well, looking around. Will Bulag start to buy is a very big question. Again, there's talk in Thailand of significant Iranian business. There has been Iraq that's been also lightly announced. The U.S. players are very hopeful, but again, they're not going to be price competitive, so it's going to be a quality origin type thing. That being said, it's just very a standard market. Demand is not great. It's kind of going through its summer cycle. We just got to continue to see what happens. Does the third quarter improve? What's going to happen? If I move my focus to other origins, Myanmar has been a little bit slower last week here on rain, and definitely continue to have significant exports to China and Africa from Myanmar. If I look at the U.S., again, you've seen the U.S. has had a lot of political challenges, to say the least. They have completed the deal as we expected with NAFTA. But there's a lot of questions what's going to happen with Canada in the NAFTA piece of this. Definitely the Mexico side of it was the most difficult, but Canada has really faltered, and it's really running out of time to make into this agreement. It probably will occur. Both parties just have so much to lose as far as this, so we do think that will happen. China, on the other hand, we continue to believe the Chinese trade war with the U.S. will continue and continue strong. We see no signals of either side budging. This is affecting the overall grain trade, especially soybeans, and giving money to growers is not going to help price. In fact, probably will decrease prices on the overall price for soybeans and the major grains. So that trade war is going to affect the overall market in the future for sure. What are some other key things? I believe the U.S. crop, as we've said, it's been proven to be very high. The yields are up from last year. Acreage are up 25% overall in the U.S. The U.S. is going to have a very big crop. We continue to believe that current prices can't be sustained, as you try to sell this very large crop without massive carryouts. So we remain very negative on the US $140 premium. It's just not logical unless you see a big jump in Asian prices. And frankly, Asian prices go down in price significantly just based upon this fundamental extreme high supply. 330, 340 is not out of the question. And maybe politically trades occur and it goes up, but again, lower prices are not out of the question at all in Asia. We don't think even in either of those circumstances you can keep this premium for US. Outside of that, we do have a special report this week going to the USDA versus TRT in Section 10. We also go through the FAO as we do every month. And of course, it's the monthly more in-depth section on India. As each week, the race trader goes through in-depth data. We do suggest you take this very quick summary and spend more time looking at the data. It's just a very brief notch and feel of what's going on in the market. And it also takes some of my flavor, which is a bit negative right now on things. So definitely look at the data and enjoy the report. As always, I've enjoyed giving you an overall summary. I know the World Conference is coming up in about 4 weeks. I look forward to seeing you guys in Hanoi from October 10th to the 12th. Please make your reservations. Please make sure everything is set up because I hear hotels and such are starting to get full. So definitely you want to make your arrangements very quickly. We just had actually a rice beer event in Sacramento here. So we had a contest of both for the chefs to bring them to the World Conference, but also did a rice beer contest. And I'm just going to say, as a small note, it was interesting how good the rice beer was, and one of the world experts in beer brewing was just amazed by how effective rice being used as a main ingredient in beer was. And so I really enjoyed it on Monday when we had that contest and was surprised by how much TV and other interest we got in rice beer. So, it's a nice side note as I sign off. Look forward to seeing you soon, and with that, hope to see you next week.